You're listening to the Dad Whisperer podcast with Dr. Michelle Watson Canfield. Be sure to follow her on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. You can find out more about Dr. Michelle at drmichellewatson.com. That's drmichellewatson.com. Here now is your host, Dr. Michelle Watson Canfield.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Dad Whisperer podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Michelle Watson Canfield. 7.5 years ago, October of 2016, I started on radio in Portland, Oregon, and it doubled as a podcast. The Dad Whisperer, again being a name that Chris Fabry gave me once in an interview about my first book, where he literally said, you should be called the Dad Whisperer, because somehow you whisper to us as dads. And I've had other men say, and we don't like women shouting at us, but somehow, Michelle, you're able to speak to us in a way that we are motivated. And men tell me they feel respected and honored. And that's my goal, men, especially for you as girl dads. You know that every time you listen in or read anything that I write in my Dad Daughter Friday blogs or my books, I have a heart to equip you as a dad to lead and not to pass off the responsibility and the privilege that you as a dad have and the power that you have as a father in your daughter's life, because I fully believe that we will have a healthier country from the ground up with healthier women. And so often you can trace back a daughter's lack of confidence or her lack of, I would say, skill sets with men or her choices, and on it goes, to either father wounds or father voids. So my desire is to step into that space so that you as dads are more equipped to dial into your daughter's heart with intention, with consistency, with clarity. I want to be as precise and specific every time you listen in with what I share, so that you don't end the listening time going, I have no idea what she said. I have no idea what I'm supposed to do. And that's why I use On Your Mark, Get Set, Go as the template every time. You may be sick of it by now, but what I always am keeping in mind is that some of you are listening for the first time. And I want you to know that I'm a fathering coach. I do this for a living. I actually now counsel and coach dads across the country, dads and daughters. So I'm here available, wanting you to know if you want to set up a Zoom call with me, you can go to my website, drmichellewatson.com, and we can begin a conversation about what that looks like. Yes, I charge for that, but I want you to know that where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. So you put your money where your heart is. And so investing in your relationship with your daughter is something that will pay dividends back to you and really back to her. And your daughter will stand out in the crowd when she knows that you're connected in a way that she feels connected to you. So the title today, On Your Mark, is 25 Things a Daughter Absolutely Needs from Her Dad. Well, before we get too far, I wanted to share with you here at the start some verses that have been really impactful to me, and I have shared these with many dads at conferences, and I thought this really sums up my heart in what I've been doing for the last 7.5 years right here on the Dad Whisperer podcast. And this comes directly from James 1, verses 22 through 25, and it has to do with action. I mean, you've heard me say this before, but if you're a dad that just takes in information and doesn't put these things into action, it falls flat. And when you were a kid, who was your favorite action figure? Your action hero. You wouldn't have liked that guy if he didn't take action. I mean, who would like Superman if he didn't fly, or Spider-Man if he couldn't spin webs and go from house to house and building to building and fly across space? You only were drawn to that action figure because he took action. So if you want to be a hero in your daughter's life, you have to take what? Say it with me. Action. So listen to these verses. Don't fool yourself into thinking that you are a listener when you are anything but. Letting the word go in one ear and out the other. Act on what you hear. Aren't those powerful words? Say it with me. Act on what you hear. For those who hear and don't act are like those who glance in the mirror, walk away, and 2 minutes later have no idea who they are or even what they look like. But whoever catches a glimpse of the revealed counsel of God, even out of the corner of his eye, and sticks with it. See the key? Dads, if you hear this information today and stick with it, that's the action that we're talking about here that matters to me, matters to your daughter, matters to God. So here's the rest of that verse. If you do that, where you get that revealed counsel and you put that into action, it says here in the Message translation, then you're no distracted scatterbrain, but a man or woman of action. That person will find delight and affirmation, last 3 words, in the action. So Dad, here as you listen, there's the title, 25 Things a Daughter Absolutely Needs from Her Dad. Get set, I'm going to fill that in. I'm going to give you the 25 things. And the whole time for go, I want you to be asking yourself, what are 1 or 2, maybe even 3 if you want to hit a home run, 3 things that you will choose to put into action today in order to reach out to your daughter or to work on something in your own life that will allow you to be a more dialed in dad to your daughter. Okay, well, you heard my title today, 25 Things a Daughter Absolutely Needs from Her Dad. So I thought, here, why don't we start with defining the word absolutely? First definition, it means there's no qualification, restriction, or limitation. And that's what I'm saying, Dad, for you to go the distance with your daughter, really what we're both talking about, because I know you're listening in because you care about this relationship with your daughter like I do. I care about you even if I don't know your name or your situation. My heart is with you. I am cheering you on. And I want you to have a mindset where there's no restriction or no limitations to what you will be willing to work on in yourself or work on to reach your daughter's heart. Number 2, here's what absolutely means. Independently, not viewed in relation to other things or other factors. So this word absolutely means that you will commit as a dad, independently of the feedback you get from your daughter, or maybe her being turned away from you for a season or a long season, but that you on your own are saying, I am not going to have excuses. No excuses, no regrets. I'm all in. So that's why I included the word absolutely here. So you with me? 25 things a daughter absolutely needs from you as her dad. Okay, number 1, here we go. And I want to say first, before I give you the number 1, welcome to Venus, can't have a conversation without having a side conversation, is I actually have these 25 things gleaned from social media and other inquiries. I put these questions out there in emails to women I knew, out on social media, and here's the question I asked them. What do you really need from your dad? See, I wanted them to give feedback. So it wouldn't just be my take, even though I've been walking alongside women for over 40 years, 4 decades, coaching, counseling, mentoring women in church settings, camp settings, counseling settings, on and on it goes. Random settings, church settings with conversations that are on the side or in a parking lot or sitting next to a woman when we're getting our nails done at the salon. I mean, these conversations are from all different places, all different ethnicities, all different faith backgrounds, all different walks of life. So this isn't just a mainstream body of research and data that I'm giving you. This is very diverse, I would say. But this informal survey that I asked these girls, what do you really need from your dad? All different ages, the youngest being 8 years old, the oldest being 89 years old. So an expanse of ages as well, to say, what do you really need from your dad? Or what do you wish you would have had from your dad if your dad is no longer living? So here's what these women said over and over about what really matters to them. And Dad, you can take these to heart because of the expanse of these women's responses that over and over, I heard the same things over and over, and I put them into a list of 25 things. Number 1, time. You've heard me even say, this is in the back of my book, Let's Talk, TALK. I've given an acrostic there about what matters. And my first one is time. That is how most daughters, most women will spell the word love. It's time. It's if you want to engage at a heart level, it means you're saying no to other things in order to say yes to her. I often tell dads, if you want to be a dialed in dad, expect to be inconvenienced because she's going to have a request, a need, maybe you'll call it a demand, right when it's the fourth quarter, the last 2 minutes of the game. Of course you can tell her, give me 2 minutes, hun. And a half an hour later, right? She's like, hey, there were 2 overtimes. You said you'd come in 5 minutes. You were lying to me. But dad, at a heart level, you keep saying, honey, you're more important, I promise. But this is an exception if it is that fourth quarter of the final game of the series. I get that. But dad, I'm talking about as a rule. If your job is more important, your workouts are more important, your hobbies are more important than her, she will internalize that and interpret that as she doesn't have value or worth. And then she's going to go looking for love. Where? In all the wrong places. So the wording these girls had, listen to some of these words. I need my dad to show interest and involvement in my life. So that means showing up to the games, showing up in her world, showing up where she works, bringing her a treat for no reason, something you know she likes, or a bouquet of flowers. But it's saying, you matter to me. I'm going to give my time to show up and to be available when you need me to be available, which probably means you'll have to leave something else in order to be there for her. It doesn't mean you do it all the time. But dad, I would even think 4 quarters of the year. Do this once a quarter where you leave work to take her to lunch. If that's possible, if you can do it more, do it once a month, do it once a week. Come up with a rhythm, but TIME. Ask yourself right now, am I giving her enough of my time? And if you don't know the answer to that question, ask your daughter. Am I giving you enough of my time? Would you like more? What would that look like if I gave you more time? So dad, that's why I'm spending a lot of time on number 1, because I believe that is a perfect starting point if you want to be a dialed in dad to your daughter. Number 2, affirmation. So the words that I heard from daughters time and again were things like, I need to know my dad's proud of me. I need him to actually let me know that he approves of what I'm doing because he doesn't say anything. And dad, you got to know your daughter will interpret your lack of response as negative. That's just how we're wired on Venus. We're like, if you say nothing, it means it's bad. It means you disapprove. It means it's negative. Men are oftentimes going, no, I'm not saying anything because I didn't have a thought. So to know how your daughter is wired, it means that you have to give her affirmation with your words. And if speaking out loud or your daughter's distance is challenging for you, write it down. Write it in a text and then periodically put it in your own handwriting on sticky notes. Put them somewhere. Write her a card in the mail. Send it. Drop it off at her work. Something where you tell her, I love you. I'm proud of you. Affirm her, affirm her, affirm her. That's number 2. Number 3, affection. Again, that one came up time and again. And many of these things, dads, if you go back through the last 299 episodes here of the Dad Whisperer podcast, there's oftentimes I talk specifically about these individual things that these daughters have mentioned. So this one about hugs, about physical touch, I've actually done a whole podcast just on that theme because the truth is, I've had daughters time and again tell me, once I started developing, it got really, really uncomfortable, weird, goofy with my dad, or my dad stopped hugging me, and I don't know why. I figured it was me. There was something wrong with me, because many daughters haven't put together that their bodies changed, so that's why you don't feel as comfortable touching them. But dad, that is a really important thing. Look I'm putting that number 3. Over and over, daughters said, what I absolutely need from my dad is affection. Because if your daughter doesn't get that safe touch from you, she's going to do what? She's going to go look for the player who has her dialed in as needy, as hungry, as vulnerable in that area. So a way that you can safeguard your daughter from unhealthy, unsafe touch is to let her know what the experience is like to have safe touch, healthy touch, responsive, but really, I would say, touch that honors her. Because one daughter may say, I love a kiss on the cheek. And the other one would go, oh, that's so gross. Dad, I only like a high five or a quick hug on my, around my shoulders or a tap on my shoulder. So you're going to need to honor how each daughter is wired in the way that you give her affection. And it's not a one size fits all, but it's up to you to find a way to give her physical touch. It may be a quick pat on the head. It may be you do an ET touch. Hey, honey, good night. Let's touch fingers. But that one honors her boundaries, because you don't know what else she's experienced out in the world that may be transferred to you. Or if you're a dad, you've heard me talk about that maybe has crossed a line. It means now she doesn't want any touch. So I get more tricky than just saying give her affection. There's lots of qualifications. Again, if that's something that's really burdening you, Dad, today I'm just sharing again from my heart to yours. This is what I've done for a living for almost 30 years, over 40 years of coaching girls, being in the trenches with lots of intense issues, and with fathers and daughters. It's my joy, my love, my heart, my passion, my training, my experience is to get in the trenches with you. So reach out to me, set up a coaching session. Let's do this together. Okay. Number 4, unconditional love. One of the ways a daughter said it is, I want my dad to just love me for who I am, regardless of my failures. I mean, I know a dad right now this week that I saw what he posted on social media for Mother's Day, affirming both of his daughters who are mothers. And one of them is a single mother now. One of them is not. So this dad is saying, I am proud of you for being a mom and giving your best. I love you, Dad. And put that out there to say, I want everyone to know that even the choices my daughters have made that aren't, I know personally, this dad, they've made different choices than this dad would have made for them. But you know what? You can't go redo the past. You can't go back and get a do-over. But you get to move forward and saying, I've made mistakes too. This apple didn't fall far from this tree. Maybe they're different failures, different mistakes, different regrets, different choices. But at the end of the day, your daughter needs to know that you love her unconditionally. My goodness, I know we still have a lot to go, but I'm going to take a quick break, dads. We're going to go fast and furious when I come back. But now that I've set this up, helped you understand the backstory to where this list came from, we're going to take a quick break. I'll be right back. See you in a few.
Are you a dad who has ever desired a deeper connection with your daughter, but haven't known how to go about it? Let's Talk Conversation Starters for Dads and Daughters is the very resource you need. Dr. Michelle wrote it with you dads in mind. This book will support you with scripted questions, equip you to decode your daughter, and inspire you with stories of other dads and daughters. Don't wait any longer to be the hero you want to be and that your daughter needs you to be. So, to let the talking begin, head on over to drmichellewatson.com/books and order your copy today. This book will become a favorite in your fathering toolbox and will give you the answers you've been looking for. That's drmichellewatson.com/books. Now, back to the Dad Whisperer podcast.
Welcome back to the Dad Whisperer podcast. I'm Dr. Michelle Watson Canfield, the Dad Whisperer. And a really cool thing, in case you missed it, is last fall I actually won an award at the Spark Media Summit or the conference. And at the gala event, they had all these awards and I was completely caught off guard, surprised, shocked, elated, humbled, excited when they called my name for the best podcast for men. I was so validated in saying, okay, here's a woman in the fathering space, in men's space. And yet that was the validation that really encouraged me to keep staying the course and bringing you as dads, as girl dads, relevant information and content to make a positive impact in your relationship with your daughter. Because I don't want you ever to have an excuse to say, well, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to say. I didn't know how to build or rebuild the bridge to her heart. Dad, I want to be your one-stop shop where I can coach you. I can write for you books or blogs. And now the podcast, for many of you say, I prefer audio. Well, here you go. I'm coming to you live from my heart to yours, wherever you are, to equip you as a dad. Okay, 25 most commonly mentioned things, right, that a daughter absolutely needs from you as her dad. Number 5, this is what daughters told me time and again. I need my dad to apologize. Wow. That's a heavy one, isn't it? Is many dads really struggle to humble themselves to say, I'm sorry, my bad. That one was on me. I really need to make that right with you. I own what I did. I take responsibility rather than coming across as I'm the adult. There's always a justification, or you're the one. If you wouldn't have done that, I wouldn't have had to have responded this way. Nope, that's honestly a parenting fail. I'll be honest. You got to come with humility and apologize. And if you don't think you've crossed a line or made a mistake or it's on you, ask your wife, ask a friend, ask someone close to you. I'm going to run this scenario by you. Can you give me some feedback if it's hard to hear from your daughter? Okay, so that's number 5. Number 6, your daughter needs you to be proud of her. Here's the exact words from some daughters. I need to know I'm not a disappointment to my dad. Dads, you got to understand, daughters read between lines. You've heard me say men read lines, women read between lines. So your daughter is reading you even when you don't maybe think she is, know she is, or you're saying, I have no idea where you got that. But hearing from you in positive ways that you're proud of her lets her know in real time with real words, and she can replay those back in her mind. So you've got to say the words that you're thinking in order for her to know what you're thinking about her. I often say to dads, don't just tell her what you think, like about life or beliefs or convictions or rules or boundaries. Let her know what you think of her. So Dad, I had another daughter say, no judgment, less criticism, and to have more faith in me, which means she may make decisions you don't approve of, but you're like, let's process it on the back end. Let's talk about what you learned. Did it go better? Wow, I didn't know that. I learned something, but keeping that dialogue going is so key. Number 7, tell me I'm beautiful. That's what these daughters said is I need my dad to tell me I'm beautiful. Because if he doesn't, he has an agenda. You as a dad you're not pulling an agenda. You're not pulling something on her. You're just saying, honey, you're beautiful. I love your eyes. Oh my goodness, your hair, you fixed it so beautifully today. Or wow, the way you put that outfit together, it shows such creativity. But you're telling her you're beautiful. In fact, I've had some dads that I've led in the Opera Project that say, I'm kind of uncomfortable with that word. I'd rather tell my wife or girlfriend that she's beautiful like an adult, but telling a teenager you're beautiful feels a little creepy to me. I'm like, well, try it out. Just try it as an experiment. Say, you look beautiful today. In case you didn't know that, I just wanted you to know, I, your dad, see you as beautiful. And just watch how she responds. If she says, Dad, that's creepy, okay, I'm wrong. That didn't work then for your daughter. Roll me under the bus. Tell her, Dr. Michelle told me to say that. See, she was wrong. You're pretty. Okay, go with that. But I want you to try out the word beautiful and see what you get back in response. Number 8, your daughter absolutely needs you to talk to her. This is the exact wording. Talk to me and open up about himself, his pain, his faults, his hopes. Got that? I know that's a long sentence, but that's how I summed up what these daughters were saying is I need my dad to talk to me about himself, not just about the world or what he thinks about that person's problem or politics or work or about everything else or about what I do wrong. I need my dad to talk about himself and open up. What's he dealing with? What are his faults? What are his hopes for himself or me? And that's what daughters told me time and again. I want to know that he's human. Here's some quotes from them. That he fails, that he makes mistakes, that he shows me how he made it right. And I love that. Even one said, I want to know more about his childhood stories. And that's why in my second book, Let's Talk, Conversation Starters for Dads and Daughters, I ended it where the last section, Lead Her to Listen, is where a dad hands his daughter the book for her to ask a dad questions about these kinds of things so that she can know about your life and where you've made mistakes and what you've learned the hard way. Because Dad, if you don't tell her the lessons you've learned, she's hungry to know not only those truths, those realities, and if she doesn't hear them from you, she'll go watch, I call it like reality in quotes TV. It isn't reality, it's scripted. But she may want to see a train wreck and how they remedied it, but they do it in such unhealthy ways. Why not be a role model and say, here's where I blew it. Again, it has to be age appropriate, of course. But then to say, and here's what I learned that I either wish I would have done different had I known it. No one told me this. I was stubborn and wouldn't listen. Because here's the second part. When your daughter learns about obstacles you've overcome, things you've learned, she will internalize that saying, see, our family, we're hardcore, we're tough. We know how to do the challenging things and we can still rise above. And she will take pride in knowing that she holds some of that same strength in her that's in you. Okay, number 9, your daughter, this is what they've said to me. Daughters have said this, and your daughter will say, pursue me. There it is, 2 words, pursue me. So remember, I'm saying, Dad, think about 1, 2, or 3 go steps. How are you doing in pursuing your daughter's heart? Here's their exact words. I need my dad to desire to get to know me. He seems kind of like it doesn't really matter the older I've gotten. It doesn't seem like he cares anymore like he did when I was younger. Others said, I want an interactive conversation where he's asking me questions about myself. Can you see why I wrote the second book? 60 conversation starters where you can ask your daughter questions about her life in different themes and topics. Let her pick out the theme. There are the questions right under it so that if you don't know what to say, you don't have any excuses because they're right there in front of you. And again, like I always say, if your daughter says, Dad, that is a stupid question, a lame question, I'm offended by that question, say, I know, Dr. Michelle gave it to me. Roll me under the bus with her, make fun of me and move on. Okay, number 10. Over and over, I heard daughters say prayer. They were talking about their spiritual life and a spiritual connection with their dad. And many said, I want my dad to pray with me. Or some that aren't comfortable with that would say, I want my dad to pray for me. Maybe you've heard me say this before because I've had guests on the podcast. I've even talked about building a bridge to God as her father. As her heavenly father, you're her earthly father, building a bridge. And whether you like that or not, that God entrusted that persona of a father to you as an imperfect, dad that says, I'm human too. I don't have this down. I don't have a playbook for all the things I need to know to dial into your heart. And I get it wrong. But remember back earlier, that one about apologize. You don't have to be perfect. You have to be present. And it's about humility. So this one, prayer, build a bridge to God as her father so that when you're not there, she always knows that she has a father in heaven who's crazy about her, who has her name, as Isaiah says, tattooed on his hand. But this idea of prayer was a really big one I heard a lot, is I want to know that my dad is carrying my request to God. And even if she's not in a place where she can do it for herself, it means a lot to know that you as a dad are doing that with her or for her. So you can ask her, do you want me to pray with you or for you? Ask her that. She may say, Dad, I really would love to hear you pray over me. I've had many, many daughters tell me that, of all ages, even adult women, that even though they're married, have their own children, they're like, my dad does that for me. In fact, one of my dear friends, she was a bridesmaid in my wedding, Bo Stern Brady, just became a senior pastor at the church I attended in Portland. And it was so cool. On the day that they, quote unquote, installed her, her dad stood on the platform and prayed over her, blessed her publicly, and prayed over this congregation. Oh my goodness. This dad is in his late 80s, cannot hear hardly at all. But he stood there in support of his daughter in this leadership role to say, I am proud of you. I am praying for you publicly and blessing you with my words. I'm telling you, Dad, follow in that dad's lead. Do that for your daughter. Number 11, here's what your daughter absolutely needs from you: to work on his temper so I can feel safe. Heard that over and over. I have addressed this whole idea. I've done a whole Dad Whisperer podcast on drop your anger. Told you last year I had a viral video, 3.4 million views on a 47-second clip where I was interviewed on my friend's podcast. And all I said for this Men in the Arena podcast to my friend Jim Ramos was what it means to drop your anger, what the impact of it is. You'll destroy her spirit. You'll make her stop trying. You'll have her internalize a message that she's not valuable. And on I went. It was short. So I just said, make a commitment now. You will not just try to control your anger, but you'll drop your anger. You'll make that choice. 3.4 million views. This was way after I did this, informal survey with girls and women, but over and over they're saying it crushes my spirit with my dad's temper, with his anger. So Dad, that may be one that you're like, that I got to work on me. That's not something necessarily that I'm going to do with my daughter, but that's my work on me. I'm going to make that a goal. I'm going to make that a matter of prayer because I got to do that on my part. Okay, number 13, honesty. I need him to be honest with himself, one of them said. When he's honest with himself, it frees him to be honest with me. So what does honesty look like? That's a longer conversation than for today, but I wanted you to hear that daughters said, I need my dad to be honest, because I think oftentimes we can pick it up in our spirit when it's like something feels like it's a cover up or a lie and there's not integrity and honesty right now in this moment. Something feels gunky in the room, in the atmosphere. And so I just encourage you, be honest. Number 14. Oh, you'll love this one. Just listen. How many times has that been a topic here on the Dad Whisperer where, you got 2 ears, 1 mouth, listen twice as much as you talk. That's what your daughter needs. Number 15, guidance. What they went on to say was, we want to have conversations about things that matter to us, and we need our dads to help guide us. And one of the things, my parents, neither one of them had role models much in, I would say, positive ways with their parents. And so they didn't really know, especially my dad, how to dial in. So what I often heard was, we'll support anything you want to do. But often when I graduated from high school, I didn't know what I wanted to do. That was not helpful for me. I needed more guidance in, can you sit down with me? Could we, and granted, we have more resources now, but to take an aptitude test, to take a different kinds of test to see what I'm gifted at, or help me volunteer somewhere to see if I like working with that population, or try something new, or go in halvesies with her to pay for lessons in something that she says, that's what I want to do with my life. Hey, you may not know if you don't try it out. I mean, I know a dad right now that his daughter's taking, lessons to be a speed driver, or lessons to do horseback riding or to do art, lessons. And when you stand with her in support of that, that helps guide her so that she doesn't commit to that. Because I know another gal that went to college all 4 years, home ec major. In her last quarter, she did her practicum, her internship, and went, I hate this. So she never used the degree. I mean, I'm sure it had, positive bearings on her life to learn how to cook or sew or all those things. This was obviously back in the day. It's not even a degree now. But it would have been more helpful if on the front end, she would have had more guidance, I would guess, right? To have tried out some of the things she thought she loved, but in real time, it looked different. Okay, number 16, protection. What I need from my dad is protection. Now, because of time, I'm not going to go into too much detail because that is another conversation for another day. I'm just telling you what these daughters said they needed as you think about what your daughter needs from you. Are you protecting her enough? Are you teaching her how to build a wall? Some dads say, I'm going to build the wall around her so guys can't get to her. I've read another awesome article that said, Dad, teach her how to build a wall. Do it with her, which actually will segue into another thing that is number 18, 2 away. But you'll have to wait for that in a minute. Number 17, sense of humor. Daughter said, sometimes my dad is so intense and he's so, serious and he wants me to get it right all the time. Sometimes I wish he would just lighten up and maybe we could laugh together. It seems like the more stressed he is and the more stressed I am, we just have lost our sense of humor. So Dad, maybe that's a good one for you to work on. How can you bring laughter into your home? Again, back to my book, Let's Talk. First section, lead her to laugh. Because the more you laugh with your daughter, not only does it increase your bonding, but brain chemicals are released when you laugh that strengthen long-term relationships. Guess what else it does? Reinforces social bonding. So that might be one that you are really going to put to action to work on. I got to bring more humor back into our family. We're going to sit down and watch funny videos on our computers. All you have to do is just put in your search engine, YouTube videos with laughter, and watch what comes up and sit with your daughter and laugh. Number 18, as I said earlier, this one, daughter said, I want my dad to teach me about things. Teach me things he knows about. It might be how to fix a car, how to work on electrical things in your house. It might be, how to do a certain kind of yard work or cut down a tree or how to do banking or finances or investing. I wish I would have learned that young. But my dad didn't learn it, so he didn't know how to teach it to me. He did help me open a bank account when I was young, But beyond that, I didn't know what to do with it. I had a roommate in college whose dad had her investing in the stock market at like 18, right when she was an adult. That's what he taught her. Oh my goodness. I would have loved that. So Dad, teach your daughter things. Number 19, this is an awesome one. Dad, your daughter needs you to be an adventurer with her. That came up. I want my dad to do the adventures with me, not just send me out on an adventure. So Dad, that might be out of your comfort zone. Get hiking boots, get a backpack, get out in nature, or whatever your daughter's adventure, what her adventurous spirit is, find a way to join her in that. Number 20, your daughter needs you, here's her exact words, to be there. To be there, to be there, to be there. That's that idea of your presence. One daughter said, instead of handing me money, I wish my dad would come with me and take me to lunch or take me shopping or go with me. Now, I know some of you would say, I'd rather be dead than go in a mall or sit in a store and watch her try on clothes and go, Dad, what do you think? Do you like this? But Dad, if you want your daughter to know you're dialed in at a heart level, this is their words, is I want my dad to be there. And the example was, instead of handing me money, I want him to go with me shopping or out to eat. I get that this isn't an all the time thing, but I thought that was a really practical idea of what that meant. Number 21, this daughter said, tell me, or a group of daughters that I put it in their words, tell me you love being my dad. And Dad, you've heard me tell you, put that on a sticky note or a dry erase marker on her mirror. But your daughter needs to know that you love being her dad. Number 22, daughters over and over said, I need my dad to believe in me. And Dad, I know when she makes choices you don't agree with, it's hard to give her your beliefs. So it means more conversations need to happen. Maybe you need coaching. Again, like I'm more promoting that role that I can take if you want to hire me to be a coach, is that if you're really missing connecting with believing in your daughter and you're like, I've used all my skill sets up, none of the tools in my fathering toolbox are working, reach out. I'm here to support you. I want to help you grow in that skill that maybe you never learned from your dad, because we can all learn how to advance our skill sets if we're open to being taught how to do that. And I love, love, love being invited into your homes to help make an impact that's positive, that lasts beyond that session. I love that. 3 more. Your daughter needs you to never give up on your family. That's what they said. Never give up on our family. I need my dad, especially if there's been divorce, not to forget that we're here. Number 24, show me how a real man treats a woman. That's what your daughter needs. She's watching you even when you don't know she is. How you talk behind closed doors about her mom, about other women. She watches your eyes and where you look. And what you look at behind closed doors impacts her even when you don't know it. Number 25, are you ready? Drum roll. Support my dreams and ideas. So Dad, you may not like your daughter's ideas. You may not like her dreams. But these daughters are saying, I desperately need my dad to support my ideas and dreams, not just pull me to his ideas and dreams. So that means you're going to have a conversation. And I have conversation starters on those things in Let's Talk Conversation Starters for Dads and Daughters, which is also available on audio. And you heard even in the outro, intro here, I'm often giving you the names of the books that I've written. But the first one, again, just to reiterate, is, Dad, here's what I really need from you. A guide for connecting with your daughter's heart. So you may be at a place, Dad, where you would prefer to listen to these books in audio. Great. But I would say for the second one, Let's Talk, use it as your playbook, because your daughter didn't come with one, but you're going to write it. Take a pen, write in the margins what your daughter tells you in response to the questions you ask her, so you can go back and read them and reread them. And your daughter is given the message that what you say matters enough to me that I want to remember it, and work your way through the book. Well, there you have it, Dad. 25 things your daughter absolutely needs from you. 25 things a daughter absolutely needs from her dad. And I'm going to review them fast and furious so you can hear them all at once. Choose 1, 2, or 3 for your go step today, this week, and write me. Tell me about them. I love, love, love getting emails from you and hearing about the impact of the things that we talk about here on the Dad Whisperer podcast. I want to hear how they impact you in real time, in real relationships. Okay, Dad, here are the 25 things that your daughter absolutely needs from you. 1, time. 2, affirmation. 3, affection. 4, unconditional love. 5, apologize. 6, be proud of me. 7, tell me I'm beautiful. 8, talk to me and open up about yourself, about himself, his pain, his faults, his hopes. 9, pursue me. 10, prayer. Build a bridge to God as her father. 11, work on your temper so she can feel safe. Drop your anger. 12, try not to change her. 13, honesty. 14, just listen. 15, guidance. 16, protection. 17, sense of humor. 18, teach her about things. 19, be an adventurer with me. That's what she said. Do that with me, not just where you watch me go off. 20, be there. 21, tell me you love being my dad. 22, believe in me. 23, never give up on our family. 24, show me how a real man treats a woman. And 25, support my ideas and dreams. Dads, the truth is, I have a passion, you know that, for dads across America to step up and step in to their roles as fathers. Dads, you matter. If you've forgotten that or you've been told otherwise, from my heart to yours, I say you matter. You matter more than you may ever know. And if you want a healthier daughter, a lot of that's on you to turn your heart towards her first. So Dad, there you have it. From my heart to yours, 25 things. And if you want a list of all 25 things, go to my website, drmichellewatson.com. Under free resources, you will see a list of all 25 things listed out there so that you can review that. Put it up in your closet. Check them off as you do all 25. Oh my goodness. Extra credit points for that. Well, this wraps up another week's program, and I'm so grateful that you've been here with me on the journey. At any point along the way that you've come in, I'm excited that you're part of this tribe and that you're listening. I'm Dr. Michelle Watson, the Dad Whisperer, encouraging you again today, Dad, to make this a day where you intentionally and consistently invest in pursuing your daughter's heart. Go Dads.
Thanks for joining us for another edition of the Dad Whisperer podcast with Dr. Michelle Watson Canfield. To find out how you can invite Dr. Michelle for your next event, go to drmichellewatson.com and click on the speaking tab. That's drmichellewatson.com. Dr. Michelle loves bringing practical insights she gleaned over the past few decades to audiences of teenagers, young adults, men's groups, or women's forums. Once again, go to drmichellewatson.com. That's drmichellewatson.com for more information on the books, resources, and blogs that she has available. Remember, you can listen to the Dad Whisperer podcast on Stitcher, Spotify, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts. And we'd appreciate it if you'd subscribe and leave us a review. Thanks for joining us today, and we'll see you again on the next edition of the Dad Whisperer podcast with Dr. Michelle Watson Canfield.